I'm recording this during the final round of the season. Hearts had the league sitting there on a silver plate, and what did they do? Dropped it, bottled it, handed it over like a wee charity gift. A mediocre side with a once-in-a-generation chance, and they still couldn't finish the job. But let's be honest, lads, for Rangers now, the only thing that really matters is next season. But right now, we need to talk about what's already moving behind the scenes at Ibrox. Sean Dyche is being mentioned as a serious Rangers idea, and after all these soft experiments, some fans might be ready for a manager with real steel. So stay with me, leave a like on the video, subscribe if you stand with the Rangers family, and let's get into it properly. We are the people. According to Football Fancast, Rangers could make their best managerial appointment since Steven Gerrard if they decide to move on from Danny Rohl and turn to Sean Dyche, the gravel voice. The old-school football, the no-nonsense style, the man who looks like he would fine you for wearing gloves in training. Aye, that's Sean Dyche. But hold on a minute, do not laugh it off too quickly. Because after what Rangers have watched since Gerrard left, maybe a bit of old-school steel is exactly what this club needs. Let's be honest about Danny Rohl first. He came in after Russell Martin's mess, and he did steady things for a while. That has to be said. The season looked broken. The support had lost patience. Rangers looked miles off it, and Rohl came in and made the team look alive again for a spell. Fair enough, but football is not judged in October and November alone. It is judged when the pressure comes. And when the pressure came, Rangers folded. 4 defeats in a row. Title gone, confidence gone, standards questioned. And now, people are looking at Rohl and asking whether the early lift was real progress or just a temporary bounce before the same old problems came back through the door. That is the harsh truth. Before the split, Rohl had only lost 1 league game after taking the job. But when it truly mattered, when Rangers had to stand tall, the team went missing. That is not good enough. Not for Rangers, not for Ibrox, not for a club that is supposed to be chasing titles, not clapping itself for nearly being competitive. Now, look at the mess since Gerrard left. Steven Gerrard had Rangers champions by early March in 2021, unbeaten in the league, 25 points ahead of Celtic. That was a Rangers side with authority. Since then, instability. Giovanni van Bronckhorst gave us a Scottish Cup and a European run that will never be forgotten, but he still came unstuck quickly. Michael Beale came in, won plenty early, talked a good game, then left with nothing and a recruitment mess behind him. Philippe Clement lasted longer than some, won the Scottish League Cup, but never truly made Rangers feel dominant. Russell Martin, the less said, the better. And now Rohl, with 1.79 points per game, sitting below the others in that post-Gerrard list. That tells ye something. It doesn't tell ye everything, but it tells ye enough to worry. Rangers have been chasing answers for years. Young coaches, new ideas, fresh projects, modern talk, process, philosophy, patience, and that is where Sean Dyche comes in. Now, Dyche is not a glamour appointment. Nobody is pretending he is. He is not coming in to give you soft talk about beautiful patterns and long-term identity while Rangers drop points at home. No, Dyche is fight. Dyche is organisation. Dyche is hard work. Dyche is the kind of manager who sends a team out and makes sure every player knows his job. Ali McCoist was intrigued by the idea before, saying Dyche would bring real fight to Ibrox. And that word matters. Fight. Because Rangers have lacked it too often. Dyche has managed over 400 games at Burnley. He took them up to the Premier League twice. He even took Burnley into Europe. Burnley. Think about that. A club with limits. A club that had to scrap, a club that had to punch above its weight. He also kept Everton up after replacing Frank Lampard And even at Nottingham Forest, he played a part in helping them survive. So, much of his career has been firefighting, but maybe Rangers need a firefighter. Because the place is smoking. No title, no stability, no clear identity, no fear factor, no proper dominance, and sometimes, before you build a palace, you need someone to stop the roof falling in. That might be Dyche. But here is my answer. Pretty football means nothing when you finish third. Style means nothing if you collapse under pressure. Philosophy means nothing if the players do not fight. Rangers need steel before style, and Dyche gives you steel. He may not make every fan dream on day one, but he might make the team harder to beat. He might make the dressing room listen. He might make Ibrox feel like a serious place again. That is what has been missing. Authority. And if the board decide Rohl is not the man, then they cannot just pick another soft project and tell the fans to wait again. No chance. If they change, they need a proper adult in the room. A manager who knows pressure. A manager who will not be swallowed by the job. A manager who will look at underperforming players and not blink. Dyche might be that kind of man. But here is the warning. This cannot be another panic appointment. If Rangers go for Dyche, it has to be because he fits the plan. Not because people are angry. Not because Rohl has had a bad run. Not because the board want a headline. It has to be because Rangers want a harder, more disciplined, more competitive team. A team with backbone. A team that doesn't crumble when the fixtures get serious. A team that can go to tough grounds and win ugly. Because a proper Rangers side has to do both. Win well when it can. Win ugly when it must. That is how titles are won. And that is why this Dyche story is interesting. Not because it is fashionable, it is nay. Not because everyone will love it, they won't. But because it asks a serious question. Have Rangers had enough of experiments? Because Martin and Rohl were youthful gambles. Different profiles, aye, but still gambles. And both ended with serious red flags. Maybe now the club needs experience. Maybe now the club needs a man who has lived through pressure, bad runs, dressing room fights, relegation scraps, promotion races, and Premier League scrutiny. Maybe now Rangers need less theory and more authority. For me, that is the debate. Not, is Sean Dyche glamorous? No, he is not. The debate is whether Rangers need glamour at all, or whether Rangers need fight. Because I would rather watch a Rangers team win with grit than lose with excuses. The badge deserves standards. The fans deserve a team that doesn't go soft. And Ibrox deserves a manager who understands that this club is not a training course. So, if Rohl stays, he better show he has learned fast. If he goes, Rangers better not bring in another clever little experiment. Bring in someone with weight, someone with command, someone who can walk into that dressing room and make the place stand up straight. Maybe that is Dyche. Maybe it is someone else. It is... But the time for soft thinking is over. Rangers need steel. Would Sean Dyche be exactly the hard, no-nonsense manager Rangers need after too many failed experiments? Or would appointing him prove the club has lost sight of what Rangers football should really be?